Hello dear friends and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video we will continue studying games of Ashot Anastasian. Let's go! Yes, again I selected three games. Few of them will study from the start. And this game, Ashot Anastasian, with the white pieces, plays against Ivan Sokolov. Ashot has 2596. Ivan Sokolov has 2696. So tournament in Stepanakert, fourth round, 2005, October 5th. So d4, d5, c4, c6, Slav defense, knight f3, knight f6, knight c3, d takes c, a4, bishop f5, knight e5, knight bd7, knight takes c4. Here, two moves are possible. One is queen c7 with the ideas to go e7, e5, and the other move is to go knight b6. Many moves are possible. One of them is to play knight e5. Black is going a5, and here white is choosing between e3, f3, h4, and even some other moves. Queen c7 in this game by Ivan Sokolov. And the main move, if I'm not mistaken, is g3. You go e5, d takes c, knight takes e5, bishop f4, knight fd7, and here after bishop g2, black is choosing between f6 and g5. Like g5, you go knight e3, g takes f, you take knight f5. I think here even knight e5 is possible move. Also bishop e5 is possible. Yes, Ashot Anastasian, he liked going for bishop g5 line, and I even remember that his students, nowadays very strong grandmasters, uh, Grandmaster Haikmar Dirosian, he also practiced several times this bishop g5 and then e3 line. Yes, the main move is to go e5, and white is playing e3. In this game, we see 94 by Ivan Sokolov. Not the strongest, I would say, though very much possible. Knight takes e4, bishop takes e4, f3, bishop g6, e4, closing the bishop, e5, and here computers are showing a4, a5. Yes, slightly improving the position. Anastasian went bishop e2, and here the best move. Sokolov played the best f6. If you go bishop b4, then simply bishop d2, bishop d2, queen takes d2. Still, you are having some problems with your bishop on g6. So f6 is the strongest, bishop e3, and now Sokolov goes wrong by capturing on d4. The best move is to play bishop b4, and after some king f2 on bishop f7. Black does not have much problems. I'm not sure about king f2. Maybe anyway Anastasian would play bishop d2, but at least compared to these positions, we are having extra f7, f6 move, which is already something. Yes, it was e takes d, queen d4, and now if you go bishop c5, just queen c3, white is very happy to trade the dark squared bishops. I can take with the knight, but mostly I will capture with the queen. Bishop b4, king f2, and now probably the last chance for black to really fight for equality is to go knight c5 with the ideas to play rook d8. Knight d6 does not work because of beautiful tactical idea queen d6, and if you take queen d6, knight e4 is coming, and then bishop captures back on d6. So the strongest is to go rook d1, rook a d1, rook d8, you takes rook d1, white is slightly better, but with a precise play, black should equalize the game. So bishop c5, queen c3 was also possible, queen d2, Maybe bishop e3 would have been slightly more precise than queen f4 by Sokolov. B4 takes, yes, computers are suggesting knight takes e3. So queen e3, queen e3, king e3. Better endgame. Yes, we are having better pieces. Black does have this bishop on g6, which is for the moment out of the game. White has opportunities to advance A and B pawns, also taking control over D, C, and some other semi-open files. Here, the best would have been to play king e7, just to keep the king on e7 and in the center of the board. Sokolov played long castle, b5, and no doubts here. The last chance is to take c takes b and to go king b8. White chooses between h4 or g4. White is better and even much better, but still game goes on. So c5, after which position is just lost. a5. Let's say if you try some knight e5, just takes, attacking the pawn, and then takes rook a6. And yes, b6 is hanging, bishop c4, bishop d5 is coming. Rook also joins through a file. King b8. White here could play just rook d1. Anastasian went b6, a6, rook d1. Bishop f7. Here, waiting move or slightly improving the position. Rook ac1. Because if you try some rook d6, bishop c4, knight e5 ideas are there. Of course, anyway, white is much better. So rook c1, rook d6, preparing rook d1, and now rook d1, f4, preparing some bishop g4 ideas, h5, and now g4. If you take bishop g4 is coming, bishop e6, f5, and I like very much the following move, though not the only one, but very beautiful, e5. Despite opponent is controlling e5 square with different pieces, with the pawn, with the rook, with the knight, also b7, bishop on f7 can always capture the knight on c4, but nothing is really working for black. Let's say takes. Yes, rook takes king f4, and then bishop e6 is coming. F takes c, g5, and now rook d2, threatening knight d6, takes, bishop e6 is coming. Black is simply tied. And now takes, e7 also finishes the game, but rook d5, if knight d6, rook e5. Such a classic game by Ashot Anastasian against such a strong and high rated, almost 2700 in 2005, Ivan Sokolov. Let's continue. Yes, I like this one also from the same tournament. Ashot Anastasian is playing 2596 rated. He's playing 2592 Machea Bartolomei, Stepanakert, Armenia, 2005, October 2nd. Yes, we do have around equal position. Rook c8, very decent move. Rook e1, queen f4, and here just queen d7 or many other moves are possible. We are having some equality, and Machea blunders something. So he goes g6 and bishop h3. Very unpleasant move. Rook is hanging on c8. For example, here rook b8 is much stronger than rook a8, which is not that obvious why. Yes, you should play rook b8, and if knight b5, you are playing queen c6. And if queen f4, you just go bishop g7, and if rook e7, you go queen f6. You are having some problems, but you are not losing the game. So after rook a8, here Anastasian played rook ac1. The strongest would have been knight b5, and here queen f4. If you take on b5, then queen f6 comes, with the idea to go rook e7, and if you play bishop g7, rook e7. And now it turns out that bishop on b7 is hanging. But anyway, Anastasian played rook c1, very logical move. And here another and decisive mistake by Maceia. After queen c6, still black keeps the equality. So after knight e4, black is choosing between d takes c, rook c6, bishop c6, or even bishop d4 tactical idea. So it was queen b8, knight b5, and this is already lost. Knight c7 is coming, rook e8 takes, and knight d6. If you go rook b8, then rook c7 comes. If you go rook e7, then bishop c8. Bishop a8, bishop a6, and then rook c8. If you take, the problem is knight e8 comes. So Maceia tried rook e2, bishop d4, but this is lost. Later on, Anastasian won quite convincingly without giving any small hopes. So takes. Yes, if you take bishop a3, b5 is coming, protecting the pawn, attacking the pawn, capturing rook b3, bishop c4, attacking on f7. Yes, and here check, 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 bishop d3. No doubts in 2025, all the grandmasters would resign without even continuing or thinking to continue the game, but not Maceia in 2005. Yes, he continued another 7 moves and eventually here decided to resign. Such a classy game.